Hi, welcome to ritzyventurez and welcome to the first episode of my South Africa series. This series is going to be your travel guide to South Africa. In this series, I would cover about your flight, visa, SIM, itinerary, and also address questions like how you can do South Africa on your own. Is South Africa safe to travel? And the best time to travel to South Africa. Also, I would cover about the currency and the issues, some of the challenges that you could face while doing managing your own trip. So do watch till the very end and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Okay, I am in Kruger now and I want to discuss the flight options that you have from India. So unfortunately there are no direct flights from India. So you need to have at least one stopover flight which will be for the duration of at least 15 hours, and the various airways that you can opt for are Etihad, Emirates, Kenya Airways, Ethiopian Airlines and Qatar. For us, we opted for Etihad because of its comfort, and we flew from Bangalore. So our stopover was at Abu Dhabi. So we had a layover in Abu Dhabi for little less than 2 hours, and it was a very comfortable flight for us. So depending on which city you fly from, you can choose the airways as per your comfort and budget.
We took two internal flights between Johannesburg and Cape Town, and for that we used Sapphire. You also have Lift Airlines, South African Airways, Airlink, and Air for local flights.
Talking about the visa process to South Africa, so there are two types of visas, e-visa and sticker visa. So for e-visa, it is free. I'll put the website for the official website for the e-visa in the description box and also on the screen. So and for sticker visa, one can go through VFS. So let me tell you that South Africa visa is not one of the easy visas to get, and so there is a lot of paperwork. For instance, for sticker visa, one needs to give notarized document. So if you're traveling with your spouse, you have to give notarized marriage certificate and notarized birth certificates, and you have to give NOC from office if you are working, and in case you are traveling with children, which is the case with us, you also have to provide NOC from their school. And for photographs in white background, though the sticker visa would not have the photographs, and the list of document is pretty high. And for e-visa also the list of document is high, and often the rejection rate is pretty high. So you need to be careful and plan in advance to get a e-visa or sticker visa. So I repeat, e-visa is actually free, but free does not mean that you don't need visa. You need a visa, but you need to apply and wait for the response. And in case the response is delayed, so you can write to them and inquire about it. So whenever you are planning your trip, do apply for your visa much in advance. So while waiting for our flight to Cape Town, let me just tell you a little more about the e-visa process. So the reason we went for e-visa, firstly, mainly was that they did not ask for any notarized document. For sticker visa, they asked for notarized marriage certificate, birth certificate, and also NOC. So NOC from office is not an issue for, but doing running around to get NOC from children's school, two different schools for two different children. So that was something that we wanted to avoid, that running around part, and also that they had asked for, when I called a VFS to inquire about that, because in the document list they have mentioned about the affidavit. So I asked, they said yes, affidavit would be required. So please clarify on that part. One of the key reasons for visa rejection for South Africa is because the bank statement that they don't find it proper. So by proper bank statement, I mean that that your bank statement should be sealed and it should be from your salary account. Try and put at least show at least 85,000 to 1 lakh per person, and do a proper cover letter That is extremely important for South Africa visa. But our experience with e-visa was mixed. First, we got a rejection saying that the host information was not correct. So we realized that in one of the places we were staying the tours, the contact number was missing. So perhaps that is the reason. So we reapplied and with all contact information of places we were staying, and we got the e-visa. So that was free. So South Africa visa, just go through all the documents carefully and plan your visa well, so that you don't have any last minute running around to do. I am at the penguin colony at Betty's Bay. Now let me talk about the currency of South Africa. So the currency of South Africa is South African rand. So one South African rand is around 4.5 Indian rupees. And how to get South African rand? So you can get South African rand in India. Do apply from whichever forex you are buying South African rand, because it takes time for you to get South African rand. And you can use both cash and card in South Africa. So we used a mixture of both. And some places they would ask for cash. In some places they insist on paying by card. So you can get a mix of both. So let's talk about what is the best time to travel to South Africa. So if you are looking at a beach holiday, say in Cape Town, so the best time would be from November to February, when the weather is very pleasant. But if you are looking at a wildlife sighting, then the best time would be from May to October, when the wildlife sighting is very good. Let me talk about the itinerary that you can follow for South Africa. So for South Africa, you should at least give 2 weeks if possible. So, and you should enter through Cape Town or Johannesburg. So remember to enter from one city and exit through other. So if you enter through Johannesburg, you can do Kruger from there. So there is not much to see in Johannesburg, and I would say avoid that because it's not very safe. And you can do 2 to 3 days of Kruger, and then you can do fly to Cape Town, and or you can do fly to Port Elizabeth. So if you are entering to Cape Town, so you can spend a few days in Cape Town, and from there onwards you can do the garden route. So for some people they start the garden route with Port Elizabeth. So garden route is from Tsitsikamma to Nuselwe, but people do cover other parts of it as well. Now let me discuss the itinerary in brief first, then I will discuss it in detail. So our 10-day itinerary started with Cape Town. After one day in Cape Town, we started the garden route, which was for 5 days. So we came back to Cape Town after the garden route and flew to Johannesburg to do the Kruger part of the trip. So for 2 nights we were at Kruger, and then we came back to Johannesburg, and on day 11 we flew back to India. This itinerary would give you the best of picturesque view, visit to penguin colony, Cape of Good Hope, ostrich farm, as well as adventure sports and wildlife. Now ideally you should try and do at least a fortnight for South Africa. We could do only 10 days because of our commitments back at home. Now if you follow a 15-day itinerary, then you can just add 2 more days in Cape Town, as it is considered one of the most beautiful cities in the world, and add at least 1 more day to Kruger. Now let me discuss the itinerary in detail now. After a 15-hour long flight from Bangalore to Cape Town, tired and fatigued, we decided to take the first day easy. So we just went to beach in the evening and experienced the roaring 40s. We almost felt blown away by the strong westerly wind.
From the very next day, our 5 day trip for garden route with book bus started. So early morning, we got picked up from a hotel. We crossed the historic Route 62. This is also known as the wine route as it leads to various wine growing areas. This 850-kilometer long route is considered the longest wine route in the world. Then we stopped at Outshon. This is considered the ostrich capital of the world. I fed ostriches and experienced a unique ostrich neck massage. We also explored Kango Caves. This is millions of years old and is considered South Africa's oldest tourist attraction. That night, we stopped at Outshon on day 2 of our garden route and day 3 of our tour, we went to Naisna. First, we went to Naisna waterfront and then to Naisna Heads. By Naisna Heads, I mean the headlands of two peninsulas that enclose and form the Naisna River estuary. What a captivating view we had from here. Then we went to Birds of Eden at Platensburg Bay. This is South Africa's largest aviary with over 200 species of birds. Then we went to Tsitsikamma for a trek. This trek was actually slated for the next day, but the guide suggested that we had time and we could finish off the trek that day itself. While I was not dressed for the trek, I am always ready for one, so I readily took it up. This was one of the easy treks that I have done. Actually, there are various trekking trails, and this was one of the easy ones. But despite being one of the easy ones, this trek I would always remember, as while coming back, it had become dark. And while the guide was with us throughout the trek, while coming back, I was a bit scared but also thrilled indeed. And after an adventurous day, we stopped by at a very cozy place at Storms River Village. On day 3 of our garden route and day 4 of our trip, we went for a full day game drive at Addo Elephant National Park. So, by game drive, I mean safaris. So, there besides elephants, we saw various types of antelopes as well as giraffes and zebras. One significant point I wanted to highlight about national parks in South Africa is that they allow self drive option, so you need to pay the conservation fee or the entrance fee and you can use your vehicle to drive through. We did the game drive in the same minibus that we have been doing the garden route trip with, and that night we stayed at the Jeffreys Bay. On day 4 of garden route and day 5 of our tour, we went to the beach at Jeffreys Bay early in the morning. So Jeffreys Bay is considered the surfing capital of the world. It wasn't the surfing season, so we just went for a stroll in the beach and then we went to Tsitsikamma Fall Adventure for zip lining. Yes, that's me, zip lining. So the zip lining involved 8 lines and it was one of the most thrilling adventure activities that I have done. Then we stopped by at Wilderness Beach and our final stop was at a beautiful chalet at Albertina where we are going to stop over for the night. Let me give you a glimpse of it. In the evening, we went for an amazing game drive. So, the game drive, as well as the hospitality and the stay, left us super impressed. If I ever go back to South Africa, I would want to spend at least one night at this private game lodge. On day 5 and last day of our garden route and day 6 of our trip, we went for an early morning game drive. Then we headed to the beautiful town of Hermanus, which is known as the whale watching capital of the world. It wasn't the season for whales, so we strolled around Hermanus a bit. Then we headed towards the penguins colony at Betty's Bay. This was the first time I was seeing penguins at its natural setting. Previously, Maybe I had seen penguins at Ocean Park in Hong Kong, but I've never seen penguins at its natural setting. So after this, our guide made a stop to show us the Cape of Good Hope, and that's the end of our garden route trip. So one significant point I wanted to mention here is that even if we did this trip over a span of 5 days, you can do it easily and comfortably over a span of 7 to 10 days.
And another thing about the garden route is that you can drive down yourself, so that would be a cheaper option as well. For us, we did a bus tour, so that could be for somebody who doesn't want to drive down. And for driving down, is the same side driving as India, so a lot of people do drive down the garden route, and there are beautiful places on the garden route. And try and please do the garden route. A lot of people just do Cape Town and Kruger and go back. So don't do that mistake. Please do garden route. It is considered one of the most beautiful and scenic places on earth.
So my itinerary discussion is not over just yet. I just told you about the garden route part of the trip. Now let me share about the rest of the trip. So from Cape Town we flew to Johannesburg.
And then we went to Johannesburg to do our Kruger. So right now we are actually going back from Kruger to Johannesburg.
Now let me discuss how you can do Kruger part of the trip. Option A is to take a flight. So you see this various airports whose name is on the screen. So you can fly to any of these airports by taking a local flight. But this is a more expensive option. The second option is to go via road from Johannesburg. It takes around 5 hours. We went by road from Johannesburg. Now, how to go about these safaris? So, there are two options. Option A is self drive. As I had said before, South Africa allows you to drive through all their national park using a private or rented car. And option B is to take a government or private safari. I would recommend you go for the second option, as the rangers help you to spot the animals more quickly. Now let's discuss your stay at Kruger. So there are two options. Option one are the rest camps of the government. You can see the link on the screen. I will also leave the link in the description box. Option two are the private lodges which have their own game reserve and is quite rich in animal sighting. They do take you to Kruger National Park as well. So I would suggest, if you have time, to go for a mix of both rest camp as well as private game lodge. Since we were there in Kruger for only 2 nights, we stayed in a private game lodge. For the local package that we booked for Kruger, we got picked up from our accommodation in Johannesburg in the morning. After reaching Kruger, we had our first evening game drive, and the next day we had a full day game drive at Kruger National Park, which was simply amazing. And on the third day, we returned back to Johannesburg via the panoramic route, and on day 11, we returned back to India.
So let me address a very important question that many of you might have. Is South Africa safe to travel for tourists? Well, as many of you would know, the crime rate is significantly high here. So one needs to treat with caution. But when we have been to Cape Town, we were stepping out in the night. We were there for 2 nights, and it was okay to step out in Cape Town. So it is believed that Cape Town is safer than Johannesburg, and in other parts in the garden route. So we felt it was quite safe. So like in Storms Village, Jeffreys Bay, Outshone. But while you are in Johannesburg, you need to be extremely cautious and don't step out in the night. Don't go solo. If you have to go from one place to another place in Johannesburg, go in Uber. Do not go in a local car. So mostly in Johannesburg is where you need to be extremely cautious about your movement, and the rest of it we found to be okay. Like in one shop in Outshone, we left our phone by mistake for a few minutes. So one of the tourists came and handed the phone back to us, and our experiences with local has also been nice. They have been quite hospitable, especially in the garden route. The entire stretch, we really loved garden route, and that part of the country, we felt it was really safe. People are walking up to us, talking to us, and we felt quite safe. But in Johannesburg, we were extremely careful. So that is the suggestion that I can give.
Let me add some additional points here. If you opt for an Airbnb, look for one with robust security. Choose the neighborhood carefully. Some of the names of safe neighborhoods in Johannesburg are on the screen. Some of the unsafe neighborhoods that you should avoid in Johannesburg are Johannesburg CBD and Hillbrow. For Johannesburg part of the stay, we stayed at Boksburg, which is 15 minutes from the airport. Our Airbnb apartment was within a gated community and came with proper security system. Let's talk about Cape Town now. While Cape Town is considered on the safer side, still there are areas that you need to avoid. The names of those are on the screen. Throughout your travel across South Africa, avoid carrying large amount of cash, flashing expensive items, and always take care of your valuables. I believe these suggestions hold good for travel across the world. For those on self-drive option, always park your vehicle in well-lit areas. And lastly, have your doors locked and windows up in your vehicle.
Now let me tell you the local SIMs which you get in South Africa. So the local SIMs that you get here are MTM, Safaricom, Cell C, and Vodafone. And you can also have your international roaming. So for us, we took Airtel International Roaming.
You will get all the SIM options in the airport. Let me talk about the various plug adapters that you need in South Africa. So in South Africa, you would need Type C, Type D, Type M and Type N plug adapters. Mostly I have seen Type M plug adapters. So what you are seeing right now in the video is a Type N plug adapter. Type C would also fit into it. So this is a Type N plug adapter and this is a Type C plug adapter. So let me show you now, turn and show it to you. So this one, the one with a triangular shape 3-pin one is a Type M plug adapter. The one which is 2-pin is a Type C plug adapter. This would also go in Type N plug adapter. Let's talk about the South African cuisine. So the South African cuisine is a mix of Asian and European cuisine. So I tried a few local dishes. So I tried kudu, which is a kudu meat. Kudu is an antelope. So that was quite yummy. And then I also tried ostrich meat. I had ostrich burger. So that at the ostrich farm, that also you can try. And also had pap, which is a wheat and made with milk. For those looking for Indian food, yes, there are a slew of Indian restaurants in the towns and cities of South Africa. A name a few of them are on the screen, and even the local restaurants have a few Indian dishes on their menu. So, how much does food cost in South Africa? Now, if you have taken a package, your breakfast and dinner are complimentary and you need to pay for your lunch. But whether you have taken a package or not, you should know that within 400 to 600 rupees, you will get a decent meal, and often it is enough for two. Just to cite an example, a burger would cost anything between 200 to 350 rupees, and a cup of coffee would cost anything between 120 to 200 rupees. That's why it is said that South African rand goes far in fetching you a decent meal.
I am at Johannesburg airport now at the end of our trip. So let's talk about the budget for South Africa visit. So your trip cost would be somewhere between 1.25 to 1.5 lakh, depending on which season you fly to, which airline you choose, and whether you opt for a self-drive option or a tour. For us, we chose Etihad because of comfortable flight option, and we chose a bus tour. So we didn't save much of money on the garden route, but we enjoyed traveling with book bus, with whom we did the garden route with. So no regrets about spending a little more money on the garden route too. So you can plan according to your comfort.
Now, let me give you a detailed cost breakup of the trip so that you can understand how much you could end up spending if you followed the same itinerary that I did. As you can see, on the top of the list is the cost for the 5-day garden route tour, followed by the Kruger tour. These were two different tours that we have taken. Visa for us was free as we opted for e-visa, and the cost that we incurred on food was on the lower side as breakfast and dinner were complimentary with the packages that we have taken. The airline cost I have not included as that would depend on the city that you are based in and the airlines that you opt for. Now, regarding the miscellaneous cost that I have added here, that is the optional activity that we did in South Africa. Our cost of stay is also on the lower side as we only had to pay for a stay in Johannesburg and Cape Town. Rest were part of the package, and the transportation cost is only the airport transportation cost. You can do your South Africa trip inclusive of flight for a budget of 1.25 lakh for 10 days and 1.5 lakh for 15 days if you follow my suggestions. Opt for a budget airline, travel during shoulder season, travel in a group, select self-drive option, go for a local tour operator, select budget accommodation, and obviously go for free e-visa. And that's the end of this episode. Do write to me if you have any query related to this episode. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. It gives me great encouragement to see your likes and comments. See you in the next episode.